All right, hello, all my Action Lab rats. Let's go. We are here on a Friday. I hope you guys. It's been a long week. I don't know about you guys. It's been a long week for me. Work, getting through the week. But hey, this is what jumping on stream with you guys makes it that much more exciting to get through all the craziness in the world, all the craziness out at their job, at the all the things. So I appreciate you coming in and being a part of what we have going on. So, we are kicking off a Friday. These Friday streams, if in case you don't know, are brand new. We've only done this for 2 or 3 weeks. So, thank you for being a part of this. And my name is Chris. I am your host for the Action Lab. We discuss everything from sports, news, topics, betting, fun stuff. I mean, you name it. We don't even talk completely about sports the entire time. But hey, we have a lot of fun just getting together with you guys and having some fun in general. So, thank you guys so much. How are you guys doing? I think we have a couple people tuning in to, we have Facebook going, we have Twitch going, we have YouTube going, we have stuff going all over the place. So, we want to make sure that you guys can catch us in various different places and make sure that you're getting all of your sports knowledge and news all from various platforms. We like to think, out of the box when it comes to getting you guys involved, right? So, if you're here, we have a couple links. I want to just get a couple housekeeping pieces out of the way. In the descriptions, we have our new, multi-stream that we've been testing out over the course of the last 2 weeks. Now, that means we have a couple different links that we're going to be streaming from. I'm currently streaming from my personal Facebook account, so that's going to shift. So if you're here and you're watching the Facebook account, my Facebook account, and you're friends or family or people that we're all linked together on the Facebook, make sure you hit that link and go to our Action Lab page and like that. I see Deborah Cola. Mom, hey, you jumped in. You ended up following, and I see that you guys, that's coming through on my side. So I want to see more follows on that as well from the Action Lab side of things. So make sure that that's going to be something that you guys go do if you're not going to be on the Twitch platform. Twitch platform, if you're watching on Twitch, love you, all our Twitch folks. That's where we got started, and that's, hopefully we can continue growing that as well. So hit that follow button if you're here and you haven't really been a part of the show before and you like what you see, then we would like to see you going and following us there as well. And then we're still building up the YouTube side of things. So as far as that goes, that's still a work in progress. We're getting there. So we'll get all the boring stuff out of the way here first. You'll notice on our we don't have our Facebook linked on here quite yet on our screen, but we're going to get that added as well. Excuse me. Again, our follower goal before the end of the month, we need to hit 50 followers, 50,000 followers. I would love to hit 50,000 followers. 50 followers so that we can reach our goal on Twitch. But hey, we still want everyone to go and jump in on the Facebook side of things as well. So that being said, how are we doing on a Friday? We've had a lot of news and a lot of things happening over the course of the week that it's been kind of interesting to take in some of it. We had a big trade in the NFL. So we had Carson Wentz getting traded from the Philadelphia Eagles to the Indianapolis Colts. So that's a big trade. There's a lot to unpack there. We're going to probably do a lot of unpacking on our Sunday night show. There's a lot to touch on. And we end up, doing a lot on this Friday show, more, lighthearted and fun and that sort of thing. But definitely crazy trade. Let me know your thoughts on what you guys think about that trade. I mean, it's definitely a great move, I think, for Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz goes from a situation where, Philadelphia it's good. I mean, he was sacked a ton of times. He never really got away from being pressured in the pocket. But now he's in a position where he's going to a team of the Indianapolis Colts that only gave up, I think, 12 sacks, if I'm not mistaken, to for a quarterback that is immobile. Phillip Rivers cannot move whatsoever. So the fact that Carson Wentz is going to a team that's going to be a little bit more fitting for what he's going to. I mean, it's a great situation for Carson Wentz. Don't get me wrong. I think that's going to be fantastic for them. The Colts overall, I think they're going to be doing great. So that was a big move. We're going to dive into a lot of that on our Sunday show. So keep in touch with that, and we'll definitely cover more there. But yeah, feel free to let me know what you guys think about that trade. It was kind of a big thing. So in Denver here, we have a lot going on. There's a lot of things that are kind of in the mix when it comes to I think there's definitely, if you watched our Wednesday show, there's a lot of weird things going on behind the scenes that we don't even know what's happening at this point, right? We're trying to figure out, what the deal is between, whether we're sticking with Drew Lock or if we're going to be, shifting to another quarterback situation. And I honestly, it's been exciting. Because, as much as Drew Lock is kind of like not really on a lot of people's, favorite list, right? They're not like loving Drew Lock for the Broncos. So I think there's some excitement there, but I think there's also going to be, some excitement when it comes to the fact that our new GM is going to be trying to make some moves. I think Deshaun Watson is going to be in the mix. I don't think we're going to get him. I would love to get him. I don't think we're going to. So there's that. And then there's also just some other things that are going on. Stephanie Kell, thanks for the follow in Facebook. Appreciate that. Hey, thanks for joining me back. Stephanie, you were with us on Wednesday, so love to see you back in the lab. And again, if you're not following the other channel or the other Facebook page in the link, the description of the link, go ahead and get that. So thank you so much, Stephanie, for popping back in and giving us a follow. And then as far as, so it's going to be interesting to see what the Broncos do. I think there's been a bunch of Colorado news. The Nuggets have an all-star in the NBA. So for another year, Nikola Jokic has made it to the All-Star game, which is fantastic. I think that's going to be a huge boost for us, especially since we haven't had the best start to the season that we would have anticipated based off of last year and based off of what we were, expecting coming from a Western Conference Finals run, potentially even a Finals run last year. We fell a little short. The Lakers really crushed us in that Western Conference Finals, but it was really interesting to see where they would, where that would take him this season, and it hasn't exactly got him to the point where they need to be. Nikola Jokic has definitely come in and been one of the best players in the league by far. He's definitely a top 5 player in the league this season, MVP candidate, carrying this team. Needs a lot of help, as far as Jamal Murray has come in and, given some help there as well. And so it hasn't been consistent though. It hasn't been where we need it to be. So that's another thing that we're trying to figure out. But it's really exciting to see that he's going to be one of the starters with, LeBron and company. LeBron is going to be, be a captain alongside, a guy like that. It's always fun to be part of the All-Star game. So I know even on our Wednesday show, we were talking about the All-Star game and if they were going to have it and if they should have it, based off of the players not wanting to play. But as far as that goes, they are going to have it. They released actually some schedules and things for that whole side of the for that whole event over the course of that week. And so, that was definitely encouraging to see. And so, as far as that goes, super excited for the All-Star game. I think there's not a lot of hype around the All-Star game currently, but I think that, and bear with me here. I think I'm having some technical difficulties with the Facebook side of things, but just bear with me. I think it's going to be a fun event. I think people are going to really get excited about it. And I think that it's going to be a fun event. So thank you guys again for being here, being a part of everything we got going on in the Action Lab. And we are going to shift over. We have there's some other headlines and things that we want to get to as well. But we always like to have a fun time on a Friday, get into the mix with some of the different memes from the week, based off of the stories that have been going on. I usually have like a slideshow of memes that we just like crush through, and it's like really fun. But I'm gonna mix it up this week. There wasn't that many to really go through, but I did find a string as far as like the last day or so that's been trending that I really thought was gonna be really fun to share. So we're gonna touch on that a little bit too here in 1 second. But I know a lot of you guys here are local for the Colorado side of things, so feel free, throw in anything you want on a Friday to talk about, whether that's Colorado sports in general, your favorite teams, and let's talk about it. Let's see what you guys want to bring up. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on all over the country, but eventually I think we want to definitely get a little bit of a local feel here moving forward here on the Action Lab, because a lot of you guys that follow the channel that have been with us since the very beginning. We started, I don't know, about 4 months ago, 3.5, 4 months ago, and it's been amazing to see how much we've grown even in this short period of time. Followers so far on Facebook. If you're on Facebook and you're watching, click the link and hit the follow button on the new page that we're going to be going live on, obviously, and just keep having fun. Again, I'm just here. I'm just glad that you're watching and sharing this time with me. But let's go ahead. Let's dive in. We have our memes of the week segment that we typically have on Fridays, and those have been going pretty well. I think those, we've had a lot of fun. There's been a lot of crazy memes. I deep dive for some of these, but there was one string of memes in particular on Twitter this past week that really just had me going, and it has to do with Drew Brees. If you've been on Twitter, you've seen this trending, and it's been one of those things where Drew Brees, he hasn't necessarily there hasn't been official word whether or not he's retiring or not. He's kind of like back and forth. He's trying to figure out, if he wants to play. I don't think he's planning on playing. Maybe in the chat, if you've heard something different, then let me know. But I want to go into some of these memes, and they've just been absolutely incredible. Twitter is fantastic, right? They have so many people that go on Twitter and they just destroy people or topics or whatever. Like, people are so it fascinates me how crazy witty people are. Like they're just they are all over the place. But Drew Brees, if you don't know, he is a quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, and with all the quarterback moves going on in the world right now, I mean, we're expecting potentially up to 18 quarterback changes over the course of this offseason, which is unprecedented for various reasons. It's never happened really, and it's really one of those things that it's really captivated a lot of the audience across the country. NFL hasn't exactly been the best off season. You have to it's a long off season. You get the Super Bowl, then you have a big gap between when you're playing. When they're going to start playing preseason games. You have the draft, which kind of holds you over for a little bit, but then even the draft is kind of like it's fun, but it's over so quick, and you just are left with just and what your draft picks could be and that sort of thing. Well, with this offseason, it's kind of mirrored the NBA offseason in a sense, where the NBA offseason is full of action, right? You got the draft, you got all the free agency, you got all the moves and trades. NFL is starting to trend that direction, but when it comes to the quarterbacks, things have been kind of up in the air for a lot of guys, and one is Jameis Winston, the backup for Drew Brees, and two, it's Drew Brees in general, because he hasn't really exactly been super straightforward with what his intentions are moving forward for the season. So as far as this goes, I was scrolling through this earlier today, and it was just blowing my mind. Some of these, they're just some savage tweets and memes. So as far as these go, flashing. I didn't know there was some flashing going on here, but for all those who are sensitive to flashes. But as far as some of these go, there are some fantastic ones that really put this on the map. So, Drew Brees didn't have exactly the best year from a throwing standpoint. And some of these memes just are an epitome of what people are feeling through what he's going to decide to do. Especially, if you're Jameis Winston and you're the backup quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, you're kind of just like, okay, am I going to be the guy? Am I going to be the backup again? What's going on? You want to figure out what's going on. But, this meme here kind of epitomizes what Drew Brees was this past season throwing the football. He wasn't exactly the most accurate, and he didn't have the best arm strength. If you look at Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, Tom Brady had a fantastic run, and he was able to get the ball downfield, which is something that wasn't necessarily possible for Drew Brees over the course of the season. It was injuries were part of it as well. Oh man, there's some rough ones here. If you've ever been to a game, first pitch just absolutely torched. This is another. Drew Brees, he wasn't this bad, but it's still funny, right? Drew Brees is he's aging, and he's not able to move like he used to. But this is a little bit of a rough one here. I don't know if this is accurate, but that doesn't mean I don't love it. Then we got a dancing grandpa here, because that's kind of what Drew Brees. He's the last breed of this. You had all of these older quarterbacks in the league that are slowly phasing out, and he hasn't exactly, again, made any changes here. You gotta love the wrestling memes here. The Undertaker. Oh, who doesn't love a good wrestling meme? But anyways, this is kind of just one of those. It's the gift that keeps giving, right? Twitter is the gift that keeps giving when it comes to some of these memes here, and Jameis Winston's getting some love in here. If you don't know this meme, it's because Jameis Winston at one point stole some crabs from when he was getting drafted from a restaurant, which people forget about that too. Kind of crazy. Yeah. So there's a lot of love here. Here's another meme that always pops up where Skip Bayless is asking, hey, it's like Jameis Winston, like it's my turn. It's my turn to be the quarterback here, and I understand. Like Jameis Winston needs to get some love when it comes to where he's going to go and what moves he's going to make. I don't know where he's going to end up. Either way, I don't think he's going to go anywhere where he's going to be a starting quarterback unless he stays with New Orleans. So as far as that goes, it's going to be tough for Jameis to find a spot that's going to fit. Here's another one. It just gets better and better, right? Drew Brees running out of the tunnel. Can you imagine Drew Brees running out of the tunnel, fired up, ready to go for the 2021-2022 season? It's going to be similar to this, right? Are we getting a preview of the next season for Drew Brees? Again, these are super aggressive, but they're fun to watch. They're fun to check out. And, I could have scoured the internet for all the best memes of the week, and there would have been a couple extras here. But as far as this goes, when you have a string of memes that are just this good, especially, to keep you going on a Friday afternoon. Maybe you're sitting in your desk and you're seeing some of these and you're just like, man, I got to be on Twitter more often. These things crack me up. Do it. It's get your work done, but do it. It's definitely worth it, especially when you see some fantastic memes, i.e. Drew Brees running down the place. Another one here, walking into the tunnel next season. And it's crazy to think, too, that I don't get a lot of love from New Orleans Saints fans when it comes to wanting him back. From what I can tell from the trends on Twitter, I don't know, and maybe fill me in on the chats, whether you're in Facebook chat or you're in the Twitch chat. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you want to see another season for Drew Brees? I mean, is this something that like you really want? I mean, he's kind of declining over the course of the over the course of the last year and a half. But it's just Buccaneers fans celebrating another year of Drew Brees on the Saints. He's not competitive. He's not able to get to the level that he needs to get to, in my opinion. I think you need to make a move. I think the draft is going to do something that can, get them in a place where they could be more competitive. But as far as this goes, I think they need to slowly move off Drew Brees. If he decides to say, "Hey, I want to come back," I think you gotta cut it loose. I think you do. Even if you can get value for him or something, if he decides to come back. Oh, here's another one. Drew Brees preview for next season. Yeah. No, it's rough. It's rough. Believe me. All right. So that's going to take up our best memes of the week segment. If in case you're new to the channel, we have about an hour to carve out for this Friday, so we want to make sure we get enough time in for our Optimal Prime Picks of the Week, which is another segment that we have coming up here next, where you guys help me make some picks on the whether it's NBA, NHL, and then we're going to have some fun making some bets on that as well. So we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. If you're here and you're checking us out, you're liking some of the content, you're liking just the conversation that's happening right now, even though it's just me just rambling on this stream. Hey, hit the follow button on Facebook, on Twitter, on Twitch. And give us some love. We love to see all you guys coming back, and it helps us to start recognizing some familiar faces, i.e. screen names, so that we can get to know you guys a little bit better as well. So let's go ahead. Let's jump into our Optimal Prime picks of the week, and let me just give you an idea of how this will work. So what we're gonna do is we have, if you don't know if you're not a big gambler person, or if you don't know what really a parlay is in gambling terms, something that you use to win a big bet. So you would take, two, at least two or more bets across any sports. Mostly you'd be pretty flexible with it, and you link them together, and you would win more money if you link them together than if you just did them individually. Now, the caveat with that is if you were to games or 3 games, anything more than 2, every single one of those has to hit for you to win. So if I go 4 out of 5 and I miss just 1, I still lose. It doesn't really matter how that works. So that's kind of just the ins and outs of that. But if it hits, you could cash in on a really, really big payday. So I like to have a little bit of fun with this on Fridays, and it's one of my favorite segments of the week. So, typically on our, Wednesday shows, we have our news and our, tier lists of our NBA players, or we have NFL, recaps or previews, going on our Wednesdays and Sunday shows. But this show, we like to have a little fun, and I like to put some skin in the game when it comes to having some money on some of these games. So what I'll do is I will have you guys, and this is where I need your help more so than ever, or any time during the week. I know we usually have a lot of people in the chat on Wednesdays and Sunday shows, but I'm calling on all the people in the chat in Facebook and on Twitch. Sorry, I keep getting that mixed up. Facebook and Twitch to help me out with some of these picks. If you have a favorite team, throw it in the chat. Just type it in on your phone, on your computer, whatever you're watching on, and let's take a look at the spreads, and let's make 7 picks. Once we have 7 games decided, I'm going to take games, and I'm going to bet on them personally. Now, the more you have, we have 7 here. We're going to build our Optimus Prime parlay, and the more you have, the harder it is. So, we just like to have some fun, and up to this point, we've done a really good job at hitting a lot of bets. The best we've ever done is what we've done the last 3 weeks in a row since we've started this segment, and that's 4-3. We've got 4 wins, 3 losses on every single parlay that we've put together up until this point. So we have to improve on that, obviously. We need to get to that at least 5 wins out of 7. And if we hit 7, I mean, we're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate on stream. Next time we go live, we're going to celebrate, I'll maybe take my wife out for a nice dinner maybe, and we'll have a good time, right? That's kind of how this works. So it just makes it more interesting and more fun, and it gets you guys involved too. So I can't do this without your help, so feel free to jump in and help me out here. I'm going to get started here. I haven't looked at any of the games, so we're going to try to pick games from the NHL, NBA. If you have anything else that you want to bet on, let's explore it. But I haven't even looked at a lot of these games. We'll pick games from tonight and potentially tomorrow, because sometimes COVID throws into a little bit of throws everything into a little bit of a wrench when it comes to some of these scheduled games, and they get pushed back. Let's go through this. Obviously, we're looking at, at this little screen here, and we're going to try to get what we can picked for these 7 gaps that we need to build our robot with, okay? So, starting out, we have a couple games here. We'll start in the NBA. If you guys see anything that you guys like, and I'll let me explain this as well real quick before we dive into. So you'll notice these numbers here. Kind of looks like a strange language sometimes when you're watching this, and you're just like, what do these numbers mean? So, for instance, on this game, the Denver Nuggets and the Cleveland Cavaliers, how this will work is if Vegas needs to balance this out, because they know Denver's going to be the better team, and everyone's going to pick Denver if they know that this game was straight up. So what Vegas does is they put 8.5 points on Cleveland's side at the end of the game. So whatever their score is, they would get those 8.5 points, and if they're still losing, then they lose that bet. So if Denver, which means Denver's the opposite of this. Denver has to win the game by 8.5 or more points, or 9 points, pretty much. So if we're taking this point spread, I'm going to bet that the Nuggets are going to win this game by 9 points or more. So if they don't, we're in trouble. So that's going to be the caveat with all of these. Same thing with Philadelphia. Philadelphia's favored, so they're getting 8 points. They need to win the game by at least 8 points or more. So that's kind of how that works. You also have, money line picks, which are straight up. Those are, so for instance, this one, Memphis right here on this game is minus 185. So that means if you bet $185, you're going to win 100. If it was flipped, if it was plus 185, you would bet 100 to win 185. Straight up bets work, but you know that Memphis is going to win this game pretty much. So we're going to go through this. I'm going to scroll through this really briefly here and see what kind of games really pop out to me. If you see anything here that you want to, throw out there in the chat, you can throw out some crazy stuff and I'll explore it. So let's just have some fun with it, right? So New Orleans and Phoenix, Toronto, Minnesota, and the Utah Jazz and the LA Clippers. So this is going to be a fantastic game, by the way. LA Clippers and the Utah Clippers took a little bit of time to get up to speed, but the Utah Jazz have just been playing out of control basketball. I keep saying that I'm not sold on them, but they keep proving me wrong, and I keep going in and trying to figure out what's happening. And I just don't believe in them as much as everyone else does. But that's slowly changing. So as far as that goes, I will. I think that's going to be a fun one to bet on. But I'm just trying to see what else is here. Going back to that Memphis and Detroit game, I really like Memphis on this one. I think that's going to be one of those, just picking them straight up to win. I think they have a lot of good players right now who are performing at a good time. Like they're winning games that they need to win, and I think that they're going to be in a spot where they can make a good situation out of this Detroit team coming in and visiting for tonight's game. So I'm going to go with I don't have enough confidence because Detroit Pistons, if you haven't watched a lot of NBA, have been playing down to their competition. So they'll play up to their competition and they'll play down to their competition. Memphis is a team that's kind of like middle of the road, so I don't expect the Detroit Pistons to do a lot here to make some of that up. And I think I'm going to lock in for our first pick. We're going to go Memphis, them to win. So money line, they just have to win the game. So that's going to be the first leg of our parlay. Now we have 6 more to power through here. So we're going to go through these one by one. We'll probably do, depending on how you want to go about this, we could do a couple from the NBA, maybe a couple from the NHL, and we can kind of go from there. So let's go ahead and click through some of these others. There's always a rule, by the way, that you never bet on your own team or bet against your own team because you're biased. I don't know about this one. I think Denver has a lot of injuries and things, but I think there's too much influx with the Denver Nuggets. They're obviously my favorite team to watch, and I just don't have a lot of faith in them, so I'm going to kind of leave that alone. But if you're going through some of these others, Golden State, Steph Curry plays out of this world, and for some reason, Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors have been playing and being competitive in a lot of games. So as far as that goes, that's an interesting one for me that I'll kind of think about here as I scroll through some of these others. Boston against Atlanta. Boston is favored by 4 points. I feel okay about taking Boston there. They've been playing pretty well of late as well. Milwaukee against Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City has been exceeding expectations, and Milwaukee has been absolutely not living up to their expectations. Milwaukee has lost 5 straight, so they haven't looked good. Giannis hasn't looked good as MVP caliber player. He hasn't even fallen into that MVP candidate level like LeBron and Jokic and Embiid. But as far as that goes, that's going to be one of those weird ones that I don't know what Milwaukee team, when they're going to turn things around. I don't know if it's going to be against Oklahoma City, but I don't know if I necessarily want to take the chance there. I think this one is pretty safe here. Toronto is favored by 2.5. Toronto's a much better team than Minnesota. Minnesota's getting some players back, but I think there's also, they're still just not a very good team. Toronto played really good against Boston here recently. So I think Toronto here is going to be a good pick, and we're going to take them with the -2.5. So let's go ahead. Let's take Boston -2.5. So that means in this game, they need to win the game by 2.5. I feel pretty confident in that one. I hope, as far as there's no injuries or any late scratches by any players. If that's the case, then I think we should be in good shape. Otherwise, as far as this goes, I feel really good and confident about Boston. This LA Clippers and Utah game is pretty interesting because the Clippers, they show up for big games as well. It's in LA. So you have that. And, again, home court advantage isn't exactly the biggest thing to, really. There's not enough fans to make home court advantage worth it for like a point spread. I mean, I think instead in the NFL, for instance, you get 3 points for being the home team. But in the, towards the season, end of the season there, I think they gave it a 1.5 point spread because there weren't that many fans, and that home field advantage isn't that strong when it comes to these. So anytime you have a top team getting some points, I kind of like LA to just bring out all their arsenal to do something against the Utah Jazz to win this game. It's a big game for both teams, and I just think anytime you get the Clippers getting points as one of the top 3 teams in the NBA, you got to take it. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to lean on the Clippers to cover 4.5. I think that's going to be one of my other picks here. Pick number 3. LAC. And then we're getting plus 4.5. Okay. So we are set with 3 out of our 7 picks here. Let's go ahead. We've kind of looked at these. We might come back to these here in a minute, but let's go ahead and check the NHL. Let's give some hockey some love, right? We got some hockey fans out there. We got some people out there that are, trying to put some bets on some hockey. Let's see what we got here. And actually, coincidentally, I've been betting on some hockey, and I've been actually doing fairly well when it comes to some of my hockey picks. So going into some of these games here, I like a lot of the money line picks when it comes to hockey. That's kind of like my bread and butter. So we might pick a couple teams here to win. We get some decent value on some of these games here that are projected. So if you're looking over here, you'll have some value picks. That doesn't mean they're favored, but they're value picks. So that means you could win a little bit more based off of betting on that. So Calgary has been playing fairly well. They lost to Edmonton the other day, but Edmonton is definitely playing the better hockey of the two of them. So I would say, of late. So I would say there's a lot of value in a lot of these picks here. You got Washington, who's favored to win over the New York Rangers. You got our Colorado Avalanche here. This is a tough matchup for them. I don't know if I want to mess around with anything when it comes to this particular game. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pick a couple of these just straight up to win. Just some games that we just think we're going to have some success with. And I think one of those is going to be Edmonton, and one of them is Florida. Florida and Detroit. Florida's outperformed this so far this season. They've been playing really, really well, especially in their conference and their division, and they've been really getting some good wins. Especially, they got a couple of big wins against Tampa Bay recently. So, as far as that rivalry goes, they're competing in that conference. So, I really like Florida. So, we're going to add Florida money line for our pick number 4. Let's see. All right, so pick number 4. We're going to do Florida. And this is NHL money line. So they just got to win the game. That's all they got to do. So that's going to be it's going to be pick number 4 for us here. Again, if you're in chat, one of the two, feel free to jump in. Let me know what you guys like. If you guys like a certain bet, throw it my way and let's look at it. And then the other one I wanted to take a look at was Edmonton. I think Edmonton's going to be a team that's going to get a solid win against Calgary here. They've been playing pretty well when it comes to them, just kind of rising to the within their conference. They had some kind of like middle of the road expectations, but I think they're playing above those. Calgary, I think, is in a spot here where I don't necessarily trust them. They definitely. There's some mismatches there between Edmonton and Calgary. So I'm going to keep riding the Edmonton bandwagon here while they're in this little mini series with Calgary. So we're going to go Edmonton Edmonton to win the game. And then they are just a money line pick. So again, money line, just got to win. All right, so we have 2 more picks here. We can go any direction you want with this. Well, we have 3 NBA picks. We have 2 NHL picks. Let's see what else. We don't really have anything going on with golf. NASCAR just wrapped up last week with the Daytona, so there's not really too much going on there. We can go back to the NBA. There's some college basketball games. Maybe look and see if there's anything on the slate for big games here, and just have some fun with those. So let's go ahead. Typically, I'm going to go to some of these later games because those seem to be more of the prime time, the big games that we want to check out. But let's see what we got here. So we got the University of Denver locally. They have been playing pretty good basketball. They've been kind of average, but they've been playing good of late. They covered a couple. They covered a couple spreads over the last couple games, so they've been playing fairly well. You got New Mexico, Wyoming. Let's see. Again, I want to kind of get to some of these later games. And actually, we're getting into tomorrow's games here, too. So, let's see. UNLV and San Jose State. I think from this standpoint, let's see. There was one that stood out to me a little bit more than the others. Where was it? Okay, so I think it might have been that Dayton, and then Georgia State's another one that I was going to look at as well. So we are going to go. We're going to go into this matchup with St. Louis. I think this is the one that I kind of feel the best about when it comes to college. Like, been getting excited for March Madness. I don't know if you guys are excited for March Madness, but I'm super stoked. And St. Louis is one of those teams that is like one of those sneaky teams that I think could be doing some good things. They are a 5-point favorite over Dayton. I do think that that's a game that they can cover. So we're going to pick St. Louis on this pick 6. And we're going to do St. Louis. So CBB, college basketball. And we're going to get -5. So they just got to win the game by 5 against Dayton. And I think they can do that. Dayton Flyers, they can make some runs and do some good things within this matchup particular. But I just think St. Louis is going to outmatch them. And they, as far as the coaching staff goes, the players that they've had, how they've been playing so far this season, I just think the eyeball test just gives it a little bit more to St. Louis. But let's go back to the NBA. That's kind of like the bread and butter that I like to stick with as well. If my co-host Scott here was here, he would probably go back to the NBA, or he would normally be betting on football. But I think we can let's put in a pick for him as well. So we have Memphis, Boston, the LA Clippers, and then we have let's see. Philadelphia over Chicago here. I think this is the other one that I really like. Philadelphia -8. They've been crushing teams for the most part. They, will drop a close game. They'll have a close game here and there where they'll just kind of struggle, but they'll still get a good win. But they typically hover around winning these games by a lot. So the last pick of the day, we're going to go with the Philadelphia 76ers. They've been hit and miss for us when we've picked them up until over the last couple weeks, but I think this is a good spot for them. Chicago hasn't really been doing a lot. They're a rebuilding team, and I think that this is just going to be a solid win for Philadelphia. So we're going to go Philly -8. So that means they have to win by 8 or more. All right, so that let me know what your thoughts are of this in the chat if you have any kind of disagreements with what I have here, or if you want to make any adjustments, throw it in there and we can take a look at those. As far as so I'm going to put a 17 parlay into action, and we're going to see if we hit. If we hit, boom, loving each and every second of that. So as far as that goes, that's going to wrap up our optimal prime parlay of the week. We will be reviewing what this ends up turning into on our Sunday stream. We always do a recap of how we did. Again, we got to make sure that we're hitting that this week. So good luck to us and our wallets too, if it hits. I mean, that would be fantastic. I don't have high hopes. Well, I guess I don't have high hopes with that attitude. I do have high hopes, and I do think we're going to be I don't want to jump to conclusions. I think we're going to have at least a 5-win week this week. That's the goal. So hope you guys, tune in for that next show on Sunday. We usually go live every Sunday and Wednesday in the evenings, and we cover a lot. So as far as that goes, we are going to be wrapping up this afternoon's stream here in a second. But I wanted to just say thank you guys for joining in. Thank you for tuning in to this afternoon session of the Action Lab. Again, it's Friday. We've made it to the weekend. We're halfway there. Start your happy hours early, right? Let's get that going. It's noon in Mountain Time on a Friday. So we definitely encourage you to, if you get all your work done and, just enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy your weekend. Again, we have follower goals on Twitch and Facebook. So Stephanie Kell, Deborah Cola, thank you for following on Facebook. And then all of our Twitch followers, we're at 26 right now. Our goal is to get to 50. So if you're here and you know, just watching, hanging out, if you like what you see, if you like hanging out with us, my co-host Scott will be joining on Wednesdays and Sundays. But if you like all the content that we have, you can see all of our VODs from previous streams. You can check those out before you make that big purchase decision of following us, which there is no purchase involved. It's free. Jump in and give us a little follow so you know when we go live. That means a lot to us. It just means a lot that you're here. It definitely would mean more if you guys are, you know, starting to chat a little bit more, which would be keeping me company, and I love hearing your voices. So that would be an awesome thing to do as well. But hey, I just love the fact that you guys are here watching and being a part of what we have going on. So follow us on all of our social medias. In the link in the description of this stream, there's also a Facebook link where you could go and to our Facebook page and see where we're going to be streaming from here on out. I'm currently streaming from my own Facebook page, which is not going to be the long-term streaming location for this. But go ahead, click on the link, follow on that, like on that, so you get updates on when we go live on Facebook as well. But we're going to be doing multi-streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Friday and a great weekend ahead. Stay warm wherever you are, if you're in Texas or some of these other places that are super cold, and stay safe. And we will see you on Sunday evening. Can't wait to see you guys back in the lab. Thank you, guys. And stay safe. And we will see you on Sunday evening. Can't wait to see you guys back in the lab. Thank you, guys.